mobilization is an issue for us in this country. I think only 1.5 million of us actually pay taxes.
I know that was the primary goal, but as to the is it the condition that come with it with respect to free SHS? That's what I haven't read it. So if indeed what the picture is presenting is the right extract, then I will advise my policymakers to probably manage it cautiously.
Why?
Because it's a good thing. It's a good policy. Everyone should have it. So I think first I will probably commend the finance ministry what they want to do. One thing that all over the world we're trying to achieve is one, financial inclusion, and then performing your tax obligations. And as a country, we need that. So what they are doing is extremely good. But sometimes we also have to look at, our culture as a people. Some of the people in the rural communities, let me tell you, are not even working. They are not doing anything. It doesn't mean they shouldn't have it. The fact that I have 10 number doesn't mean you have to go and pay tax forcibly. No, that is not. So everybody should have it. But probably the approach and also their will I say compliance or cooperation threshold or limit. I hope you understand what I'm saying. We need to do more education and get them gradually into it. Other than that, you live in a country, people actually do propaganda with any extract. The finance ministry, the government, they mean well. They want Ghana to move from where it is to another stage. And that's what they've done a lot, especially if you look at the primary macro indicators, which of course, in terms of pecking order in developing any society, you need to check that first and stabilize that before you move into the secondary macro indicators, i.e. industries, agriculture, and other policies that will make sure that you raise standard of living. The finance ministry and the government are really doing well, and that's what I think they want to do. But my suggestion is that when it comes to this, trying to make this condition for free SHS is good. It will put pressure on them. But we need to manage the communication wall, the information wall. Other than that, it will also introduce a lot of arbitrariness in people's readiness or preparedness to even comply or conform to or patronize the free SHS policy. It may really give us what is called, they call something cyclical effect. I mean, out of strategic drift. Maybe you have a good strategy, but then the strategy with respect to the stakeholders, their compliance, their conformity, their cooperation to make sure that you get the synergies from the team. You may not get it. So that's what I'm saying, that it is a good thing. I commend them, but they should manage the information and the communication very well as to how they can willingly get these stakeholders on board to achieve the primary goal. Other than that, we may not get it.
The primary goal being the tax.
Exactly. You want to widen the, or Ghana here. One difficulty that I've come to realize is that as a country, we want to be like the developed countries. People are mentioning Rwanda. Yes, but let me tell you, if they bring just two of their policies in Ghana here, even the Pope will hit the street.
Why?
We don't want to go by the fence that will lift us to the place. Tell me any policy. Look, let me give you the example. Maybe you get a picture. Well, I'm not diverted. I was driving to Cape Coast. We were about 3, including a police guy in the car. And then before we got to Ouija, there was traffic. And the sprinters, they were going like 60, 70 kilometers per hour using the pedestrian. They were not even slow, They were speeding big time. They got to my car. Somebody wanted to hit the side of my car. And the policeman rolled down and why are you doing this? He insulted the policeman. When the policeman got out to demand his license so that he would give to the nearest police station for him to be arrested, everybody in the car was begging. Less than 2 hours, we got to a place and there were dead bodies. Not the same car anyway. Similar sprinters, whatever. It was speeding too badly. The saloon car was speeding too badly. What I'm saying is that, remember we introduced driver's court. What happened in our country today? What's happening whenever you want to come out with any policy to change our society? The citizenry, they will not comply. They don't want to be part of it. Yet, we want to move Ghana quickly to the skies.
Well, I think that's a bit cynical because even when you look at the Ghana Post GPS, you see a lot of houses that have registered people are trying, and sometimes it has to do with educating the general public, right? Letting them know this is what you're doing. So, for example, the director for the revenue division at the ministry.
I am really surprised. You are saying, I'm not saying all cases, but you live in Ghana.
Yes, I live in Ghana.
What I'm saying is, how many times do we look, Rwanda, if you want to build your house, in the first place, depending on the type of building you want to, then they will allow you. Maybe if you don't want to put up 2-3 story, I'm coming, you can build
We do benefit from some democracy that people in Rwanda
If you start building and they have time frame within which you should be able to get to probably first floor, second floor. If you don't, the government will get it and give you another place. Can you introduce this in Ghana? I'm saying that the things that made people get to develop stage in terms of the economy, we don't want to, and it's a fact. Until all stakeholders, including the citizen, you and I, the government, every day they say leadership. Yes, I'm not saying leadership by example and should take the lead. But trust me, once we are under the democratic dispensation, and the laws are there, and the behaviors and the attitudes, if you all don't change and comply with policies, whether by NDC, CPP, or MPP, it will be extremely difficult.
But statistically, if you're looking at the number of people who have actually acquired TIN numbers, or the TIN itself, and looking at the number of people that you're hoping to benefit from the free SHS program, it appears that those who have the TIN numbers in Ghana currently are quite negligible. So then it means that...
That's why it's a very good policy. I'm saying it's good. The only thing is that for them to comply fully and be on board, we should manage
and by
the
them, you mean the
communication
citizenry
and the education very well. Other than that, they will not. Okay. Even with Maslock now, just yesterday I discussed with my finance that now they should send circular, like communicate. Before you benefit, you should have your TIN. If you are not registered, you will not have it. So gradually we want to get there, because one of the best policies we can have. But if we don't really manage it well, even the same media, not all of you, will misconstrue it for their political gains. If they like party A or B, they will support it or condemn it and confuse those that are supposed to even be beneficiaries or comply with the whole thing. That's why I'm saying that we should manage the communication very well. Other than that, we may not get what we want to.
Alhaji, let's bring you in here. Let me quote Mr. Anthony Jadra here, who is the Director of Revenue Division at the Ministry of Finance. He says, for us to be able to achieve a Ghana Beyond Aid and generate the needed revenue, we need to make sure that everybody pays a little bit of tax. So he's really focusing on how do we sustain this Ghana Beyond Aid agenda, and we all should contribute to the bowl so that we can benefit from it.
Yeah, but thank you very much, and let me say good morning to our cherished voice and good morning to you, my very good friend since he was appointed. This is the first time we are meeting, and I think that I want to congratulate him. Maybe he deserves it.
If you had not seen me,
we have.
Maybe he's difficult to find now because
that is now he drives with police, so probably
he's not a regular.
He just mentioned it.
Yeah.
So probably
police.
No.
Police.
I mean, public. I have to make this clear. The fact that policeman was in my, I've come here this morning. I didn't come with a driver.
I didn't see anybody in the
Actually,
car.
he's just
You came
teasing
alone.
you.
But when you are traveling to Cape Coast, you travel with
They can't
police.
tease you.
Anyway, he's just on the lighter note. Diva, I think that fundamentally, I do not have any difficulty in respect of state looking for what is due the state. Basically, we are citizens who demand for social amenities, provisions of infrastructure that will make our lives meaningful and make us to survive. In making those demands from state, certainly, we also have a certain duty and a role to play in making sure that those who are running the administration of the state certainly will be able to provide our needs. And that is why they say you have your right as well as a duty and responsibility, and that is enshrined in our constitution. But in doing so, it's important to do it in a manner that certainly will not also injure the citizens. You have a situation where if you take in the formal sector of our economy, certainly it's easier to be able to get the revenue from the formal sector because it is actually well planned and you can be able to identify each individual. But when it comes to the informal sector, it becomes extremely difficult. That is where the work is. That is where probably government will have to focus on. Now, government attaching the accessing of free HSS with the thing, I think that's problematic because when they promised the people of this country, they never associated the benefit to any condition.
But Alhaji, you do agree that we all benefit from some social policies, and we're not going to get that money from loans or grants.
Exactly.
It's internally generated revenue, and currently we're not even meeting our targets. Right, so the citizenry should also empathize with the leaders to understand that we all have to contribute to these social policies
I
that
think
we
if I
benefit from.
establish the basis upon which I said I agree in principle that citizens are expected to pay, and we have to pay.
Yes. So this
Because
isn't a
we
condition.
cannot, it's a condition.
It's not,
You are
but it's
telling me
something
no,
you're
it's a
supposed to do.
condition.
Okay.
It's a condition in the sense that that is the easier way that the government want to adapt to be able to get the citizens to get the thing. Now, just take your camera and go into our community and find out from the individual citizens of this country whether they have an understanding and appreciation of what we mean by team. Go into the villages, whether they do. Now, to tell me that you have just read a budget and you incorporated in the budget that in 2019, if you don't have a team, you will not be entitled to benefit this policy that we are practicing. Certainly, that is where I agree with you when you ask the issue of education. You are bringing, what I have observed from this government is that they have problem with implementation. They come out with an idea, fantastic idea, but implementation becomes a problem. So I think that he has a little background on project implementation. So I think that he should be helping most of those who are leading this thing. Probably that's why he even, you see, he was diplomatic, telling that they should be cautious. Because the implication of it is that many people who, the intention of implementing free HSS, that you want to address certain concerns and help the weak and the vulnerable. The weak and the vulnerable are the people, many more of them who do not even understand what you mean by thing. Where they lived, where they stay, they have to travel far away to a certain town, which is the capital, to enable them to get the thing.
But isn't that a small price to pay for free SHS?
Yeah. And maybe it's not a matter of them traveling so far, because this is the nitty-gritty of it.
Do we have the infrastructure available to every nook and cranny of our country, where if we are implementing this is, in fact, personally, I would advocate for many of our citizens to go and register. But do we have enough infrastructure to be able to make the demand? That is one area that we have to look at.
What do you mean by infrastructure to meet the demand? As in to acquire the team?
The acquiring of the team. Even in Accra here, just if I should ask you, you live in a district, probably, let me use my district and my sub-metro. You can't register the team at my sub-metro, You have to travel to Accra, go to Accra, that is GRE office, before I can be able to.
Because there's no GRE office at the location.
That is the fundamental challenge.
But now we are
so
looking
I'm saying that if you have, the government should just look at making sure that we have offices closer.
Okay, but looking at the benefits of free SHS, is it not a small sacrifice to pay, even if you have to travel for 2 hours to get this done?
You see, this one is just coming back to the advice we've given to government when they implemented the free HSS. As I sit here, is it not strange that I could drive my daughter or my son into a campus, just drop the son and daughter, and then just move out? You have another parent who would not be able to drive his son or daughter to school, but he will actually patronize the commercial vehicle to them. That person needs the help that the state will have to give. Probably, I may need the help, but mine may be not too intense as compared to that person. So our argument is that is why you see the crafters of the Constitution knows very well that issues of finance will be challenged. That's why they indicated that it should be progressively implemented under Article 25. You understand? So when you do it progressively, you will be able to then be monitoring the unintended consequences of the implementation.
But Alhaji, let's see, if you didn't have the free SHS as a parent, right? Let me put myself in the shoes of an average parent who's benefiting from free SHS. I'll probably have to spend a lot of hours working to pay for my child's school fees. And now I have the option of just registering for this 10. Even if I don't work right now, even if I'm not paying my taxes, I'm just going to get this number so that my child would benefit from all these social interventions.
If my daughter is in school, if that is a condition, I won't provide the thing to anybody. I have registered, but I won't give it to any of the distance for me to benefit. I would prefer to pay. I am responsible for my upbringing of my child.
Okay, but not everyone has that luxury.
Now, I'm saying that it's a back door of introducing the opportunity for people to pay.
But Alaji, do you know that even saying no to free SHS is a luxury that millions of people in this country don't have? Because you have that to say, I can pay for my child, so I'm not providing my TIN number.
You said saying no.
Saying I'm not going to provide it because I can pay. That's
no, but
that's what I'm saying.
That's the government is actually just trying to go through back door.
Okay.
To let people pay. Because there are many who certainly, probably not that the person has the means to pay, but because of inability to go and register, will certainly lose out of it. Then it means that the person will certainly have to pay.
You are saying that government is using a back door to let people pay because it's so difficult to get your TIN number?
Just come to my community where I lived and ask them, what do they understand by TIN?
So then we need to educate them. The issue is
excuse me.
Attaching it to the
we'll come back break, then you come
But I just want to put this out that maybe looking at the huge numbers that we have in Ghana right now, the population about 30 million, it's not so easy to do a cross advertisement right now. Looking at the number of media houses we have, TV, radio, amongst others, advertising or educating people is not as easy. So maybe this way, if you say that get a TIN before you get free SHS, indirectly it's a way of educating people on the need to get a TIN. Now they'll actually get a TIN. Anyway, we'll go for a quick break. When we come back, Breakfast Daily continues. Keep your messages coming. # Breakfast Daily. And of course, the WhatsApp line is
0550-585-832. We'll be right back.
This is The Point of View. We are live on City TV this and every Monday and Wednesday at 9 p.m.
Tune in to The Point of View, Mondays and Wednesdays at 9 p.m. as Bernard Avlet takes the news further. He will bring the right guests, ask them the relevant questions, and get you the real insights you need on the big stories for the day.
All that the industry is saying is that this tax will be incident on the person it's intended to. But when it comes to the pricing itself, individual pricing, not only are the telcos even pricing for everybody. Bernard, I don't know which network you're on. The price you get on your network will be different from the price I get. So in terms of competition amongst our members, it's as intense as anything.
The Point of View with Bernard Avlet, Monday and Wednesday nights, only on City TV. Let's take you on a journey of discovery, the incredible sights, artifacts, music, and adventure. It is what makes life worth living. Our history, the arts, and soul. Art and Soul with Melissa Awad. Saturdays at 8:30 a.m. Only on City TV.
Art and soul, art, soul, art and soul, art, yeah, soul, art and soul, art, soul, art and soul.
City TV is live. City TV is a free-to-air digital channel. On a digital TV, please press menu on your remote control and run a news search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access City TV on your television. City TV can be accessed on a multi-TV digibox. Tune into City TV and experience your world. City TV, it's your world.
Welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily on City TV. Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, before the break, we were discussing the Finance Ministry's move to require 10 numbers for free SHS, and you were giving your closing remarks.
You know, that was why I was advising that we should do this cautiously because it will be misconstrued. It's being actually witnessed here. And surprisingly, my brother is saying that MPP, we have problems in implementing policies. They don't even have policy concept. They are actually touted or dubbed, they adopt contractionist fiscal policy because they are social democrats. And the pro-poor policies, ask which of them they had a concept and implemented. None. And when it comes to economic issues, ask the NDC. So we that are capitalists, it's not like we want to burden the state with taxes. Since Nana Addo came, check tax on some selected medicines that are not actually produced in Ghana. We don't tax them. Check the VAT on such medicines. VAT on.
I don't want us to overbroaden the conversation.
Allow me. He spoke.
No,
yeah, but we're focusing on the free SHS.
We are focusing on
and widening the tax.
Exactly.
The need for the 10 before.
Exactly.
But what I'm saying is, he is saying that we are not able to implement policies as well. And I'm trying to explain. So I'm building at least a preamble to that effect.
Okay.
But if we still want to go back strictly to that,
yes,
I think what we want to do now, it's something that the NDC will never even have the idea to do. The fact is, we don't want to really burden the state with a few people paying taxes. So we've moved into that direction to reduce probably high cost of living. At the same time, we want to broaden the tax base, which has been the outcry of most stakeholders for so many years.
Yeah.
But the tactical approach or the strategy, they are not getting it. But this time we have it. We want to tie these things so that other stakeholders either are compelled or they see the need to get the 10 numbers for us to identify them. You know, one of the problems was addressing system. If you don't have, how do you even identify them? And it's one of the areas this government is really making giant.
But Mr. Amor, people have complained that even with the Ghana Post GPS, we had the marketing for maybe the first couple of months. We didn't hear nothing of it. A lot of people still don't have it. So, yes, on paper is great, but how do you actually educate the Makola woman, the woman at Kantamanto, the one who's selling things on the street, about why it's important for her to get this 10 number? How do we go about letting them value it and not letting them think we want to deprive them of free SHS unless we force them to get the 10? How do we educate them strategically?
Is being done. But if you say we should upscale our performances in that direction, I agree with you. But what I'm saying is that at least if you see our effort in these areas, you realize that relatively we are seriously committing ourselves to moving this country to the direction that all these basic problems will be solved. Because we are in power less than 2 years. And mind you, all policies at a point in time, you can stop, review, and make adjustments. Because you start and realize, oh, probably A, B, C, D, we need to change it. Probably in terms of size, in terms of the speed. As you're saying, if people are not well educated and we think we are rushing, we can hold on a bit and say that, okay, let's do A, B, C. But when it comes to all policies, apart from conception stage, planning stage, execution comes with resources. For all you know, probably resources, there could be constraint. So let's wait. Or maybe the I would say the labor force that we need, maybe the skill. Or let's train a few people, maybe let's get a few computers. Let's see how we define this approach. It's all done. I think we are seeking efficiency and effectiveness. So once we see that, our approach may not be the best alternative in terms of execution, we can hold on a bit within the time constraint. So that's what we're trying to do.
But I feel strongly that this approach seems to eventually it will get results, because if you're telling a person that you need a 10 before free SHS, you need Ghana Post before you get your national ID, you know, gradually people, as long as there's no time limit for obtaining same, gradually people would go and get it. So maybe it's not such a bad idea.
I don't have a problem.
Oh, the idea is very good.
Saying that,
but they will misconstrue. So we need to do the education work.
Passport. If you don't have TIN, you won't be issued with a national health insurance. If you don't have TIN, you won't be issued with national identification card. I don't have a problem with that. My problem really is attaching it to the free HSS. The free HSS, when they promise us, they never promise the people of this country that you have to do something before you benefit.
Okay.
There was no condition attached to that.
Okay.
That's my problem. So it's like
But
a
there's
betrayal.
always review and adjustment.
Then go back and tell the people that you are reviewing it.
Do you really understand
Now, just to
implementation
move.
of policies?
Now let's look at our next story from the Ghanaian Times. Has to do with the Kumasi gas explosion. 27 cars destroyed, amongst others. So I'm going to read from page 3 this morning of the Ghanaian Times. It says, at least 12 people sustained severe burns when a gas filling station, Trinity Gas at Kofum in Kumasi, exploded yesterday morning. 3 of the victims, one in critical condition, were rushed to the Konfanoshi Teaching Hospital. 9 others who sustained various degrees of injuries were sent to the Old Tafo Government Hospital, where they are on admission. So several cars have been destroyed, about 27 cars, and, you know, as already said, 12 people have sustained injuries. There are further reports on citynewsroom.com that one person actually died from this incident.
Yeah, and it says here also that, and I'm reading from Ghanaian Times, Daily Graphic, page 16. Preliminary investigations into the gas explosion in Kumasi have revealed that the incident occurred when an attendant attempted to seal a leakage while brisk business was going on. So it looks as though they are beginning to find out exactly what happened. So someone was attempting to seal.
And this is also key to note that according to the Ashanti Regional Director of NADMO, Kwabena Insenche, he told journalists at the scene that he was not surprised at the situation because processes were underway to close down the station, which was sited among residential houses. So, you know, processes had begun to close down the station. This is what he's saying from NADMO. Whether or not it's true, we don't know, but at least that's what he's saying. And some residents who interacted with the media expressed concern about how their complaints to the authorities for the relocation of the station had fallen on deaf ears. So the residents are saying that we complained this particular station was in a residential area. We complained several times to the authorities and nothing happened. And now that the explosion has happened, the Ashanti Regional Director of NADMO is saying that, processes were underway to close down the station. We start with you, Alhaji Alidu, on this one.
I think that, first of all, let me begin by extending condolence to those who lost their lives, the family, sympathize with them. And those who were injured yesterday, I sympathize with them. I pray God Almighty will touch them for the speedy healing of their injury. Having said that, I think that fundamentally in this country, we seem to always been engaged in firefighting. It is only when an incident occurred, you have officialdom coming to speak all the grammar, assuring the people of this country it won't happen again. I recall when similar unfortunate incident occurred in Atomic. I'm sure you recall the assurance given not by less a person than the vice president that they will take measures to ensure that it will never happen again. And I remember even putting on my Facebook timeline that, look, you don't promise that it will never happen again. Once you engage in some of these things, accidents is bound to happen. What you need to do, that is why we have what you call precautions that has to be adhered to. If you follow strictly, you will minimize it. Even minimize the probability. You'll be able to minimize the probability. But sometimes in communicating, we speak as if we have total control of the situation. And when it happens, then you see that people going back to what you have said and told them that, look, you assured us that it won't happen again in this country. You are going to put measures. So what has been the effect of your measures? So I think that in communicating some of these things, I have a science background, and I do know that certainly it will be difficult when it comes to accident, that you will tell me that you can prevent it. It's not possible. It's humanly impossible. But you put measures to minimize.
Do you think
measures have indeed been taken?
Well, I followed the actions taken by MPA. And when they announced that they want to take out some of the gas filling centers out of certain
a
areas,
whole committee was set
and they
up
have
to have
actually
the gas
classified them
recirculation policy
into categories where they've indicated high-risk areas low-risk areas, etc. So the high-risk areas, they have indicated that they are going to turn them into a distributing point where you sit at home and then your gas, cylinder or your gas will be supplied to in exchange of your cylinder. And I think that that's a very good program. If implemented, it will help us. But the business guys in that sector said no, we disagree because we are going to cause a lot of people to lose their jobs. But it's important we look at the balance in terms of getting some of these things happen every now and then and losing lives and property as compared to at least putting measures to ensure that we protect property and lives. So for me, sometimes politicians, something that is so excellent, implementation, we'll come back to the implementation again because of probably the political furor and then people would raise questions about it. Sometimes we are careful in going forcefully in implementing it. But by and large, I have traveled out. I was in India some time ago, and within their community, you will see a storage building. Under the storage building is a gas filling station. Yes.
Isn't that dangerous?
It is not that dangerous. It's because they adhere strictly to the regulations.
Okay.
But in this part of the world, probably we don't care about our own lives. And I keep telling people that we don't have.
Is it that we don't care about our lives, or we are not educated enough on the things to do to prevent these things from happening? Because I don't think that the people are meeting us to educate us on do this, do that. We are grading these
before you establish, before you open a filling station or a gas filling station, you will be taken through a certain process. In submitting your application to MPA, they are mandated to come to the field, do an assessment of the field, etc. Now, when you are implementing or you are establishing or opening a company, we have what we call environmental impact assessment that you have to do. What is the essence of it? You are looking at the impact of that project on the community. Do we do a proper evaluation of that vis-a-vis what we have assessed? Those are the difficulties. Now, you see,
and do we hold
corruption certainly play a key role in this. Because you have a situation where once I have money, I can buy my way, even when the reports suggest that it is not safe to open it here. That is actually a fundamental charge we have to look at. That is why it's important to have serious commitment in fighting corruption.
Thank you.
All these things are happening because people think that, well, I have money, I can do
so
whatever.
Moving forward, what do you want to see done beyond the national or the gas policy?
I support the decision of government to pay their assessment of high-risk area, low-risk area, per those assessment, steps that they have prescribed to take. I support it, that they have to take, because you see, those lives lost yesterday, probably.
Or you wanted an immediate rollout, because according to
they said they will implement in January next year.
In the first quarter of 2019.
So how long? We should allow things to happen. People should lose their property. People should lose their lives because we want to. I mean, sometimes there are things that need an urgent attention. Some of these things need urgent attention. Once an evaluation has been done regarding the areas, etc., and the report is available, we should just move in swiftly and at least implement it, because it is for the good of the country and the individual.
Thank you very much. Let's bring Mr. Amoah here. There's a general sense that government sometimes is reactive. We wait for something to happen, then we react to it. We were all here when the Atomic Junction situation happened. Is there a way we could have prevented this, not only in Kumasi or Kofum, but across the country?
I think it could have been possible. And remember, this thing has been happening for over 20 years. Yeah. I'm sure even these days, it's getting better.
It's actually not, because the statistics show that in the last 10 years, about 250 people have died from gas explosions, of which between 2015 and 2017, more than half of that number occurred.
More than half?
Yes, according to the statistics.
Sometimes, is it true? Yeah. I don't want to. I'm not saying you're lying, but sometimes let's also check ourselves. When Medina case happened, one well-known, remarkable radio stations, one of them here, said that only this year, 198 I went and checked. It was not
wrong,
true.
yeah.
One big
Are you talking
station.
about the footbridge?
I don't want to go into your industry stuff.
Yeah.
And they were so emphatic.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say it's true or false. I always want to find out
Yeah, let's
where the
verify
information
this.
is
This is
coming
a
from.
no,
But
this is
the
a report
most-
according to
But the most
Graphic.
important thing that we should address is that how can we curb this situation as all of us are discussing. I think it's one of the issues I raised, and my sister was like, I was being a bit cynical. Not that I'm being cynical. You remember this Adenta issue happened, I think, 7th October 2017. And then 12th October 2017, Cabinet sat, and they wanted to implement this cylinder recirculation model that they had come out with, and including making sure that LPG modeling centers are actually moved away from congested commercial centers. What happened? Even when they want to do it, this is what I'm talking about. We are all stakeholders. No matter how good you are, no matter how strong you are as a leader, how assertive you are, you need cooperation and compliance. They all came out and, hey, no, we won't do this, we are that government. This is what is happening in our society. As much as the media, you are doing a good job. I'm not saying you're perfect. But always don't let us concentrate so much on leaders alone. Because we need to also make sure that we need to comply with. This thing, it killed my friend's, is it mother? Yes, in Kumasi, so painfully. A lot of people have lost their lives. It's an issue. I think, and that's why I think that this is the difference between us and the developed countries. This is the difference. And I think sometimes we also have to be fair. If I were a leader, whether in DCMPP or CPP, no matter what, seriously speaking, I don't think if I get even 4 years, Ghanaians will vote for me again. I'm telling you. Because the way we are, and we are not lucky, we are not under autocratic rule. That's why you look at Singapore and those places, they all got transformed during that period of segment of autocratic leadership. When it's democracy, it's not as easy as you see it. You feel like let government start implementing this good policy my brother is talking about and see what will happen. So what I'm saying is that as a people, sometimes when government is coming out with good policies, just as my brother is commending, the entire country should support it. We don't have to leave it for a few stakeholders that are benefiting, meeting or satisfying their individual utilities and satisfaction. Because if government wants to implement something, definitely will affect somebody. And the person, because or that small group, because of their interest, they will fight it. And sometimes they pay their money to some of the media guys.
But Mr. Anthony,
I'm making things very practical.
Yes, but let's also, for example, a couple of decades ago, we started this campaign of send your girl child to school. We did an amazing job. I mean, I think I was probably 3-4 years old, and I could actually, I can still remember the songs they used to sing. Send your girl child to school. So if we're not educating the public well, and it's not just through the media, engage them one-on-one, talk to them, let them understand what's going on. We can't really blame them when they are not implementing policies that we are making, when they have no clue what the motive for the policies are. Are we actually doing a good job as agencies, government government institutions?
Please, what's your name?
Jifa.
Jifa, I understand what you're saying, but my point is not even this, in this case, the masses, how we should position ourselves, comport ourselves. But I'm saying that whenever there's a policy, whether by party A or B, the small stakeholder group that the policy may affect adversely, they come so strong and difficult for the leaders to get even the backing of the masses. And sometimes, for instance, even the driver's court issue, you remember what happened? Many instances, whether in this way MPP, they come out with policies that may be very good, may augur well for the people, ensure that we are moving forward. And then the smaller group that is being affected, they come out strongly. And sometimes they pay money, press conference, and it's like, no matter what you want to do, always every leader wouldn't want to lose the goodwill
of the people.
So
but do we have the willpower to put in place preventative measures to ensure these things don't happen? Because we say we're doing this, we have these policies going on, then something happens, then they show up.
Hassan is doing well. One of them is to make sure now we want to categorize even where we cite these LPG bottling centers or plants.
There's a whole policy on the NPA website, so I think viewers should take a look at that.
What you're saying is perfect. Education is a problem in our country, I think culturally, so I agree with Jifa. But what I'm saying is that when there's a good policy, and a smaller group or a small group tries to fight it because of their interest, I'm expecting that the entire stakeholder, the stakeholder group such as the media, once they know without any partisanship influence or inducement, should make sure that they also come against it.
Okay, fantastic.
That's
Thank
what
you
I'm
very
saying.
much. Now,
So that
just
the
to move on
police-
to our
You
next
were tired
story.
of your response to the last story.
Thank you very much. Talking about the police training on citynewsroom.com, it appears that even the police themselves are saying that the police operations chief is saying the 6-month training for police is very inadequate, amongst others. So
Before touching on that, I would want to just raise an issue regarding the education. You know that when we are contesting as politicians, we craft a message to reach out to the downtrodden.
And you visit them, you
And we
eat with
visit
them, you do
and make
everything
them
with them.
appreciate what we intend achieving. How come that when it comes to national policy, we are unable to craft